Hey, what's up, everyone? How we doing today? Dr. Beau here. I have my good friend, special guest, co-host today, Mike Anderson. What's going on, Mike?
Not too much. Happy to be here.
If you guys don't know who Mike is the guy that does all of my marketing for me inside my practice. Matter of fact, I've been so lucky enough to actually partner with him at Well-Rounded Marketing. And today, guys, we're just going to dive right in and talk about websites. We're going to give you guys a few tips, a few things that you need to do like right now, today, to reevaluate your website and figure out, number one, is it working? Number two, is it bringing the right people in my door? And then number three, is it keeping them in for the long run? And really, that's what it all comes down to, right? We're doctors, we want to serve, but we also know that we have to have like amazing marketing that brings the right people into our practice, because we know chiropractic is like as deep and wide as it is. And as much as we want to say we serve everybody, in reality, we can't. So we got to get the right people in. So, Mike, let's first off just kind of dive in and kind of first off tell me like what makes you guys so much different? What makes, I guess, us, as far as with well-rounded marketing, so much different than all the other competitors that are out there? And as far as like the way we do things in our process and the things that doctors can do right now on their own website.
Yeah, there's two things I like to point out because we get asked this question all the time. What makes you guys different? There's a million marketing agencies out there, and I think there's two things. The first one is really not that sexy, but it really comes down to the team and the processes behind the marketing. And I often find it interesting that, we spend so much time with clients talking about marketing strategy, and people I think are hoping we'll dazzle them with some way that we've hacked Google's algorithm or something like that. And truly what it comes down to is that just like any small business, it's the people that are the most important part and the hardest part. So if you have a team that can't retain talent, if you can't have processes that are well defined, if you can't train well, then all the good ideas that people have fall apart. And so that's the first biggest thing, right? We've got this amazing team of 60 people in San Diego that, bleed marketing. And we've got, almost 10 years of process development, training, making about every mistake you can possibly make, doing it the wrong way to get to this place where we're doing it the right way. So I think that's the first piece. And probably, maybe the least satisfying of all the answers. But the other thing,
actually, I think that's a great, hold on a sec. That's a major point, because there's so many like marketing companies in chiropractic where like there's like one guy who's doing it at 2:00 in the morning and hiring all these overseas people. And I remember the first time I walked into your guys's, your studio, and I was like, oh my God, there's like 40 plus people in the space. Like this is like an actual really big, legit, like what you would and everyone would think about being an actual marketing agency. And when we sat down for that first time and like did like an overview of my old site, and if you're watching this right now and you can see, this is actually my new site, not my old site. This site's amazing. But like that first time where we sat down with everyone roundtable and you were like, Beau, this is our team that does branding. This is the team that does logo. This is the team that does design. They're the team that does SEO. And I was like, holy crap. Like we're not talking to somebody in India and the Philippines and Russia, like actual people. And they're like, yeah, like we all work together. So when we produce a product, it's like something that's cohesive and like all the way branded all the way across. So that, in my opinion, was like the number one thing that kind of hit me in the face is like, oh, wow, this is a full team. This isn't just some dude at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to go off on that, but
no, it's so funny because it's true of every business, right? It's true of patients evaluating chiropractors. It's the same exact thing. Like we all want to focus on the hand skills and the knowledge and all this stuff, but like, gosh, if you don't have a front desk that answers the phone, if your team isn't on the same page and you don't have systems in your practice, it's not going to serve those patients. And so for every business that I work with and evaluate, I spend a lot of time asking questions about the business. How many people are there? How many people are on the sales team? That's a great question to ask a marketing agency. And when you find those companies, I'm not going to name them, but in the space we know them, their team is heavily sales. And then when it gets to the fulfillment, it has a much smaller team. That's a scary place to be when your business depends on marketing. So the website, obviously find the right team. But what about the strategy? I think I'll focus on a simple strategy today, which is that you want to find a way to stand out in the market space, right? And I think a lot of that comes through authenticity, through photo and video. And thankfully, the chiropractic space is really good at creating video and understands this. And so if that's something that you're behind on, it's important that you catch up. You need to invest in photo and video. I love what you do, Dr. Beau. You've kind of been the A+ student, and you'll work with someone almost monthly and have them come in or quarterly. Now, that may not be something that everybody does, but I think at least once every couple of years, having someone come in and do some photo video work for you will help you stand out in your website and in all of your marketing. And the investment for that is pretty small.
Yeah, I think that goes across, for any website. If you're a doctor right now and you're just like reevaluating your own website, like how much of your website is actually you, right? And this is something that we go through all the time, and maybe we can even dive into a little of this, Michael. Like we can go and pull up a few of them and show like some differences, in some different areas that we could like, if you're watching this, you could be like, oh man, that's totally me. I need to change that, or like, oh, I had no idea that was a major thing.
I love that. And one of the things that happens all the time is we'll talk to people and someone will say, hey, my website's great, and I've found more and more, it's like this cosmic joke, right? Where people will tell me how great their site is. And then I pull it up and it's like the worst site that I've seen. And so for me, what that comes from a lot of times is just a lack of information, right? You've got a company that's kind of pumping you up, focusing on the wrong things, telling you everything's going well. And in reality, you're not differentiating in the market. The website may not be built to perform. And so that's really, what I think we want to talk about today. So with that in mind, just before we jumped on here, I did a search. So, I'm in San Diego, in Point Loma. So I just typed in San Diego chiropractor and I clicked on an ad. So this is going to be something that, people are paying for. So the Joint, I think everybody knows the Joint. And then we're going to, pick on one of the local San Diego chiropractors here. Don't hate us. If you're watching this, I apologize. We can talk about a site if you're interested, but let's take a look at the Joint first. So here's the landing page that they have. And, the first thing that jumps out to me is like, this is, it's professionally designed, but it's also just, for me, it feels inauthentic, right? This is a stock image. And it's this funny psychology where people can pick stock photos without really understanding how they know. Like, I know this is not someone who lives in San Diego who's a customer of the local Joint here, right? This is a stock image for a campaign. And it's very conversion focused. And this is good. I like that we're trying to claim a new patient special offer. Good, excellent work there. But everything else here just feels, pretty bland to me. This is clean design without really connecting, if that makes sense, right? It's not that it's not beautiful. It's not that it doesn't look nice. It just isn't landing for me. Now, this next site, this is a local practice. And I would say this is really typical of what we expect to see for a chiropractic site. In fact, a lot of people that are watching this might say, it kind of feels like my site. And again, what do we see? We've got these stock images. We've got a lot of busyness, right? A new patient special offer. We can help. Chat with us. We're throwing logos around. And I'm not even sure if I understand, these are brands that are supported. Why are those logos there? I don't know. We've got a few photos. So this is probably going to be the one authentic photo on the site. We've got, our doc there. And then we're back to our stock images. We've got a lot of text. And this is what we've come to accept in the chiropractic space as a good website, right? All the information's here, my photos on the homepage, A+ work. If we dig a little deeper and we go into the service pages, we'll pick cold laser therapy here. This is so typical of a service page, right? It's going to have one stock image, and then I like to call it the wall of text after that, right? It's kind of a copy paste from a Word document. And put yourself in the patient's shoes at this point. If someone's searching for cold laser therapy and they get here, do you feel like you're convincing someone? I don't know. And the way that websites work, there's kind of three core pages, right? There's going to be that home page that sends that main signal to Google, and we're going to use that to rank for best chiropractor near me. And then it's also the core place that referrals are going to come to. So if someone refers you to a friend, they search you online, that homepage, that's going to be your digital storefront, right? But these service pages are equally as important, because if someone's searching for cold laser therapy, one of these secondary services, oftentimes this is the first place, the first experience they have. So ask yourself, as a business, would you feel excited if this is what someone is seeing? Does this represent you? Do you think it's going to convince them to stop looking? So
also too, cold laser therapy is not a cheap thing.
Yeah.
A lot of doctors sell, sessions of 10, 20 of them for thousands and thousands of dollars. And if this is your only basically storefront talking about cold laser, you know, I don't know how many people are gonna. I mean, I can't even see the cold laser here. I don't even know which one that this doctor uses.
Yeah.
So anyway, just something to think about. Whoever this is.
And then there's this there's this third part. I like what you said exactly, right? If you have these services that are premium services, like you hate to use that dirty word sales, right? None of us want to think we're selling, but we are. We're helping convince people to take a next step by educating them and giving them information that supports a decision. And so that has to happen on the service pages, but blogs are another really critical part. Now, some of you might have just rolled your eyes. You're like, blogs, like it's never seen someone read one of my blogs. Well, when we take a look at your site, Dr. Beau, if it's okay with you, I'm actually going to pull up some of the analytics behind it. And if you're paying attention to your patients and you're listening to the questions they're asking, that's the perfect thing to put in the blog space. Now, you can work with a team like ours, and we kind of will actually look at the trending data from, what people are searching for and use that to inform really good blog topics. But I love that boots on the ground, like, hey, I got this question. I'm gonna type something up. And blogs are another great place. So again, this website, well, it checks the boxes. We've got a blog, we've got service pages, we've got a homepage. Is it winning hearts and minds? I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. We're going to switch over and take a look at your website. And right off the bat, I think the way that we approach it is I would like people to be able to make a decision without scrolling. So if I look right here, this is introducing you, it's introducing the practice. And there's pretty clear call to actions, right? We've got a phone number, we can explore social, but book an appointment's kind of the main thing that we're pushing people to. And if you're not ready, everything after this is going to support that. Now, you've got a really cool sort of virtual posture alignment, lead generation system built in, which is cool. But after that, we're introducing the team, and you'll notice there's a lot of video on this site. We're talking about what sort of treatment and solutions are here. But notice how many authentic photos and videos are in this as we scroll down. Now, you might look at this and say, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful site, but is this going to break the bank? Is this really hard to build? Well, that's where marrying good design with good technology is so important, because the technology we've built this on makes it incredibly scalable. So we can work with clients, and we've worked with lots of other chiropractors that I think see and get this vision and say, well, how do I do this quickly? We're able to build a site that looks just like this for them and do it quickly and celebrate their practices and move away from these stock images, right? This is what we want to move away from. I want to see less of these, and I want to see more of this. This is all from your practice. That's so cool.
Show them, one of the condition pages or something, so they can at least get an understanding as far as how we do and move through that as well too, versus just like, the number one cold laser one.
Yeah. So I think the great thing about this is you're going to notice that content is broken apart, right? You want to make it digestible. I think for me, I find it really hard to read this. This feels daunting. It reminds me of like I'm going back to school all of a sudden. I get a little anxiety. Whereas we're skimmers now. So I can look at this. I've got a video that I can click. We've got, you talking about some stretches, common causes. So you can see how this lets me skim and scan and understand what's the information that's most relevant for me. It's really visually supported. And the whole way we're using photos from your practice. So it's incredibly tailored for you.
So guys, number one, build a website that's visually appeasing for other people that are like excited to actually see your website. And number two, speak to those people using your blogs, using your data, being able to use your videos. Now, I know one thing that we do that really sets us apart, and I know you're going to pull it up right here, is we have built like an entire analytics background or an analytics engine. So you also know like what you're scaling for, what you're ranking for, all of those things. Michael, if you want to just take a second and kind of dive into this, because I know this is where you live a lot of your day as well.
Yeah, so we've built on top of this amazing software that really helps us take a lot of reports and bring them into one place. And so while we're not going to talk about all the different reports that this supports, it really makes it easy for both our team and for our clients to feel like they're actually getting data that's useful. Because a lot of times it feels like data is just getting sort of shoved down your throat, and you're like, I don't even know what this means, but someone's telling me it's good, so I guess that's fine. Well, in this case, what we're looking at is Google Analytics data. So this is your website. And if we look at, what's happened since your new website launched, this is kind of right when we, launched the new site here back in 2020, you're getting about 12 to 15,000 sessions, which by the way, for the average chiropractor is insane. So your website was getting a lot of traffic. You easily could have been that guy that was like, hey, my website's great. Well, what we did is we made it a lot more personal. We really told your unique story, and we started doing intentional SEO strategy. And so what you can see is that since we've launched that site, we're now up to 50 to 60,000 sessions a month. Now, the thing I always look at is, well, where is this traffic coming from? Some of you might have seen this before, and it's like all spam traffic. It's really bad, right? Well, you can see here, most of that is coming from organic search. In fact, we can isolate that organic search traffic and sort of see how that's grown over time. But I love actually looking at what are the pages that drive that growth. And this is really interesting. It's a surprise to see that, well, the homepage, which you can see down here with 30,000 sessions, that's normally the #1 most visited page on any site. You've got 4 blogs that are just crushing it. We've got 300,000 sessions for, 6 stretches to help alleviate lower back pain. It's amazing. Now you might say to yourself, okay, does that mean that there's 300,000 more at bats for you as far as new patients? Not the case. This is a blog that's trending nationally, but think about the impact locally. That means Google is seeing all this traffic come to your site, and it's lifting it up and saying this is a really good resource, not just nationally, but it's really cementing you locally. So that competition, if they're trying to put their elbows out and say, listen, how do we get in front of Dr. Beau? They've got 300,000 readers that they have to get through to get Google's attention and say this is a better resource. So that's super important. I also love this average time on page. We can say, look at this, 6 stretches. People are spending 8 minutes on that. This one's 6 minutes. Lest you think this is not a useful resource. So we go back to a page like this and say, is this useful? Are people reading this? I don't know. I think we need to be a little more intentional with our design. We need to get rid of stock images, and we need to really think about what are the questions people are asking to make sure that we're serving them the right way.
So I think for a lot of doctors, this is going to kind of blow them away, because a lot of times they think like, man, I just wanted a website that like people could find my name and phone number at. And the depth and complexity of what you guys have built, I mean, our website, these blogs, these funnels, SEO, all of that stuff, for a lot of people, it's a little bit overwhelming, right? Like they don't even know like where to start or what to do. For doctors that want to reach out and like have a conversation. Yeah, I know. Look at, even right here, you're looking, it's like we can book appointments on our website. Like we have a virtual posture where we've worked with another chiropractic company to put virtual posture screenings on when we were in the middle of COVID. Another generation for hundreds of Google reviews. But if doctors want to like reach out to you, Michael, and say, hey, will you look at my website and like give me some feedback? Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah. So what people can do is they can visit us at our website. So our website is going to be wellroundedmarketingagency.com. And you can go on this website and you can schedule a marketing meeting just by clicking on this and finding time on our calendar. And you'll schedule time either with me or someone else on our team to just do a simple evaluation, kind of walk through some of the same stuff we did today and see, is there an opportunity to improve the website and the marketing that you have, and really put a marketing plan in place that fits your goals. And I think that's the thing we should end with. It's all about goals. If you're happy with the new patients you have, if your practice is in a good place, then you don't need to make a change. But if you have bigger goals and you feel like you're not being served today, and you feel like you've kind of hit that plateau, then maybe it's time to, make a change and try to do things a little bit differently. And that difference starts with you being authentic in your marketplace and standing out from the crowd where everybody else is kind of, settling for stock images.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thank you for your time. Docs, hope you guys got some good stuff from this. Please let us know what you think. And if you have any questions, hit them up. Let us know what you have. Thanks again.
Thanks.